are we going now?
Going to Mensen, or to an auction over near Azalea.
Yeah. A postponed auction. Supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, so.
And it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah, so maybe didn't gain anything, but it's a lot drier now than it was then, even if it does rain.
Even if it rains, the ground will hold us up to park.
Yeah. So we'll get there and look around and see what happens. All right, postponed until the 19th. If it was today, it would be an excellent time for this, but it's not gonna be. And it looks like some other stuff has gotten added at the last minute. Namely this. I wouldn't mind having that for parts. It's pretty rough, but it would work for parts. There's that. What? I'm just gonna go up and down the rows here, I think. Get you some filming of what's here. That's kind of a neat, that's one of the earlier model Vermeer balers. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that Vermeer was the original round baler, other than the Alice Roto baler, but Vermeer was the first company to make something like what we use now. The field cultivator. I think that's a Brilliant, but it's got an Agco cylinder on it. That's kind of interesting. Mowers. A case grain drill. That's kind of neat. I don't know if I've seen one of those before. Embossed letters on it even. Let's go this way. New idea. Disc mower, or pretty sure that's what, it might be like a flail type. I don't know. I know I've seen these before. Can we see in there? There's no good way to see in there. Yep. Well, here's what I'm after. This is just like Great Grandpa had before the WD. You don't remember that, do you?
No.
I wonder.
It doesn't look like it's all there, though.
I'm not all there either, and people like me, it's not stuck. Yeah, it's unstyled. It was open grill like this. This is what it is. Yeah, I mean, this is back when the tractors were, all they had to do is have 4 wheels and a place to sit. They didn't care about anything else. It's not stuck, no. And it's got almost new tires on the front.
Oh well, there you go.
That's a couple $100 right there. Crank. It's got a more improved seat than the original. Look at that, fancy suspension. Because the original was just on that flat piece of steel with a with a pan. That's kind of neat. I don't know if I can get it bought or not, but it's kind of neat. 1937. They wrote C, but it's a WC. I like this ignition switch. Did you see this? Come look at this ignition switch.
WD, I can't pull that.
Well, here's the solution. Look at that. And the ignition switch.
Yeah, there you go. That would be perfect.
And look at the fuel capacity.
3 gallons.
That'd probably get you till noon, and then you refill and go again. I don't walk around this way. I'm gonna go down every row, I think. I don't know what that is. It's a Alice Chalmers hay rake. Some internationals. 460 utility. That's kind of interesting. 240. $135 and a 65. Little Chinesium tractor. Maybe, I don't know. There it says Foton 250A. Sounds very scientific. Little minis. That would fit in the back of your pickup. I'm not so sure 2 guys couldn't shove it over. We'll go down every row. Like I said before, I kind of like this coming the day before to film everything than trying to do it when there's a bunch of people here, because you get to talking and visiting with everybody and don't get a lot of filming for you, but we can look at the highlights today and then we will come back, you know what I'm saying, day of the sale. And then if it rains, at least you got some footage of what was here. Easy Trail grain cart. This is kind of a sweetheart. Very similar to that one that I've got. That's neat. Just like every grain truck ever. 26,450. That could be original. I doubt it. It's probably 126, but some of these old trucks don't have a ton of miles. Ooh, this is neat too. Mine doesn't have that. That's, I don't know, friends. You think that's a homemade or is that an actual thing? I thought maybe it was like for a, they made a pocket where you could store stuff, but I don't know. I assume this is like a, see here, gotta remember, every hood latch ever is in a different place. This probably a, no, it's not. This could be like a 330 replacement engine. Mine has a 292, which are the ones that have that crossover exhaust. So this has got an engine more like my red truck. Cute little feller. Got a, I've never even looked. Does it have a hoist? It should. They don't all though. Yeah, it's got a scissor hoist, I believe, which is the kind that I'd rather have as far as hoists go. Neutral placer. Augers. Tons of augers all the time. A pain, you know, a pain to move home down the road without hitting something. This here is another thing that I'm potentially after. I've wanted one of these for a long time. It's a Donahue trailer. This one's badged as a John Deere, but they're super handy for moving implements, you see. And Now I got that semi now, so that's nice, but this is actually, you can get this flat to the ground, you know, and back stuff over it. The only problem I see here is this one looks kind of rough, like it's been rode hard, you know. But if it still works, who cares? But this would be the kind of thing that I'd use if I could take implements to the fair, you know. Back them on at home, do the thing, take it to the fairgrounds, have another tractor there ready, pull them off, go again. So that's a potential. This, I don't know who would have made this, but I thought they showed a picture and it had a John Deere tag on it, but I doubt that that's a factory made thing, because you can see it used to be a truck. But I wonder if I bought that, if that WD would ride home. It should ride home on here. That's not that heavy. Anthony wagon gear, never heard of that. That's got a calcium tire on it. There's a New Holland running gear. Corey running gears. Getter. New Holland rake. It's a hay bind, similar to Cousin's hay bind. I don't know what those were, a 1210 or something like that maybe. A bunch of these. We were looking for one of these for over at Dad's for years, and now that he found one, there's 3. So you know how that goes. Can't find them till you're not looking. New Holland spreader. Yeah, got some rough places in it. Dearborn plow. Land Pride mower. Little Massey Ferguson with a woods mower. That looks practically new there. That and this tiller. Point woods mower. Ferguson plow. Top Air sprayers. The dealer that I worked at, they were like one of the top dealers of Top Air sprayers for a while. They sold I don't know how many Top Air sprayers. No booms anymore though. Little trailer. 855 Deere. There's an Alice Chalmers forklift. I wonder if that's on the auction or if that's theirs here. I don't know that I've ever seen one quite like that. Interesting. Gale skid steer. John Deere. Little 7200 Kubota. Garden tractor plow. Little economy Power King. My brother-in-law's got one, but it's earlier. It doesn't have the fancy grill with headlights. Here's one of these that I wouldn't mind having to modify for some of those little utility tractors that I have, you know, 500, 550s. I hate to buy a brand new one and chop on it, so. Pasture Rejuvenator. I've seen several of these sell before. I always wondered if they did anything. Maybe it'll go cheap and we can find out. A hay spear. We definitely could use an upgrade on that. There's a cute little manure spreader. I've seen several of these sell too, and they always bring top dollar. I think a lot of your equine people like them because they're small and they can be pulled with a four-wheeler or whatever. Well, you saw the video. We were at that one sale. What did I buy there? Where I bought that Heston hay unloader trailer. They had one of these that didn't have a floor, and it was basically just the frame and sides, and it brought like 800 bucks, I think. Good old 8-in Fords. That's a above average one, really. And if you don't like that one, you got a choice number 2. It's a little bit more rough. That one. Still got a generator on that one. Homemade trailer. I saw this in the pictures. I think it's a Massey Ferguson, but it looks an awfully lot like a Vermeer. Did Massey Ferguson buy them from Vermeer and have them, you know, repainted and sold them as their own? Because that's kind of what it looks like to me. I don't know that I've ever seen another one of these around home, so couldn't tell you. Freeman manure spreader. I don't know that I've ever seen one of those either. As far as that goes, I don't think that looks like it's in terrible shape. It's still got paint on the floor. So, just because it's rusty doesn't mean it's garbage, you know. Chisel plow. Deer chisel plow, maybe. Yep. Tag. See the tag? That's a monstrous rotary hoe. And it's rigid. It doesn't even have... It's not folding. It's got like a transport harness that you would quick attach in the field somehow. I guess you'd pull these out. Maybe. Yeah. Boy, that's... Let's do a poor man's tape measure here. I'm gonna say it's around 27 feet. That's something. I don't think I've ever seen one that big either. 27-foot rotary hoe. Some deer saddle tanks. Small leak at bottom. This would be handy to have too for... I'd like to get into some liquid fertilizer stuff and get a tank like that to potentially haul what you needed, or water. It's a little hydraulic drive jumper auger here. That one's had a few sins over its time. It's on the John Deere gear though. That looks like a Colby wagon there. There was a bunch of them around here. Yep. That looks like a John Deere gear. One of those 953s maybe. Maybe it's bigger than that. Now here's some Ford rims, but 13 628 tires that look pretty darn good. I need to do some inventory at home and see if I got any tractor that has that size on it. Off the top of my head, I can't think what it would be if the 550s have that. The 550 needs new tires. That might be a value or a bargain. Probably not though. At a sale they usually bring almost as much as new. There's some pretty weather check tire, even the good one. you go, weightlifting. You're disking and then you get tired and you get out and poke some iron. Sure. There's a garden tractor. Is that a Simplicity maybe? I don't see the label. I used to be pretty big into collecting these walk behinds. That's cute. Fun fact, that should be the same as a Oliver 75, I think. Maybe not quite, but they were built by Jacobson, and so were the Oliver ones. That's kind of neat. Generator. There's a newer CDZ seeder. Get a good picture of this sticker so we can have it reproduced. Well, rained here a little bit. There's a little trailer that needs some love. It was made out of all kinds of things. Inch tires. I wouldn't be opposed to, wonder if that one's totally junk and that's why they brought it here. I wouldn't be opposed to having an extra one of these because I think that's what the 9650 has on it. If you had a major meltdown, you could slap that on and get by till you could, you know, finish what you were doing or whatever. Your bank account was in better shape to buy a new one, you know what I'm saying? 18.438 double bevel rims. We could potentially make use of those too. I got a couple of outhouses on the end. No, I'd say that's for use and not sale. Ford slip scoop. Dad, he's taking off. He's clear up there. He's sailing through this, you know. He just wants to see it. He doesn't want to analyze every piece. Just like he said when we were on that equipment tour in Ohio. He said he likes seeing it, but spend a lot of time on it now. 18 inch. What do I have that has those? The Moline combine, maybe? I need to go home and check that too. That would be another handy thing to have as a spare. If it doesn't bring much, because, you know, full type combine, you break down on the road or something, it'd be nice to get it off the road. I'm afraid a smaller tire might make something bottom out, or I don't know. Just speaking out loud, thinking out loud. There's some, these are what our Iowa friend needs, you know, run flat tires. Look at that, they come with the holes from the factory. So, fence posts. Miscellaneous stuff. Where does it all come from, you know? Every year you think everybody's got to have their ditches and sheds cleaned out, and then there's more every time. Toro tiller, is that what that is? Or I can't think of the name of these. These were the big thing at one time. Dang it, I can't remember what these are called. Yeah, that ain't gonna survive long enough for me to remind my brain. But this was the best in the West at one time. There was a bunch of these around too. I'll think of it after a while. And kinds of miscellany. Some boat motors. Cub Cadet parts. Tombstone welder. Farm King. Hydrostatic 16. That's kind of interesting. That's a pretty good sized little horse for a garden tractor. I wonder if that's, is that made by Boland's? Question mark. Somebody can chime in. There's something that I couldn't fit in but definitely would die in. DMI bumper. Chrome cover. And there's the frame for it. Brand. These are probably the shiniest chicken boxes I've ever seen. Really nice tires on junk rims. This stuff here will probably be like the last stuff to sell in wholesale, and it'll be, yeah, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and everybody will be over it. That's the way it was last time, you know. There's some picnic tables for your park. Model A rear end into a trailer. Those make good jack stands. There's an old lime spreader slash cedar that is pretty well seeing its final days, I'm afraid. Won't let me open it. Well, I guess you don't want to be saved then. Oh, that, you have to be able to get that open. Not worth it. You can go to the junkyard. That's fine. Look at that fancy hub work. And the John Deere mower. See, I just won't be able to help myself if that stuff brings almost nothing, because I like old implements. I hate to see them get scrapped when somebody might be interested. I had one guy message me, he was interested in that plow I bought at that auction the other day, so I need to try to call him and see what he, you know, junk tools, huh? Well, certainly, if I think the plastic kept the water out of it, but I don't know. Interesting. Only have 24% battery left, so we have to work fast, you know. Nothing super exciting here. Some various stages of decay, John Deere tractors. slightly used Land Pride mower. Snap cover again. Might be worth something for something. There's some white planter boxes and stuff, pieces, and there's a grain leg. Maybe I need to buy that and put it in the corner till the time is right, you know. Monstrous tanks. Look at that. Here's some tires that probably came off of, they probably came off a grain truck, but what I was going to say is maybe school buses. But 920s, and these are 920s, and they're practically new. They would fit my older Ford trucks. There's one of these gates you couldn't give me. Those things are crap. They're good when they're new, but they don't last long. Here we go. Scoreboards. We could hang this up at home and we can keep track of how many times I'm right versus the people in the comments who tell me I'm doing it wrong. We can see who wins. Various plumbing things. Probably actually a lot of value there if you needed it. Some of it's sat around a long time though. Pretty nasty. Not that you'd see that on a job, depending on what you were doing, but there's a lot of nastiness going on there too. Shag rugs. Boats and boat trailers. Everything imaginable. Gas cans. You need gas. You don't need to go to the farm store. You can find anything you need here. Electrical service, yard care, home improvement. I mean, they have it all. So, have 1/3 of a hay feeder. I mean, sometimes you need that. So yeah, you're down to 18%. So I don't know how much more we'll get, but we can soldier on. Here's a poor little fella. I had a 210 case, this body style, for a while I mowed with. Mine was a gear drive though, and that wasn't too handy, but it was a heavy built little thing. Yeah. Now, and these are where you can't even really reach into to see anything. I can't tell. We're gonna assume it's stuck. It might not be, but lots of boats. A Jeep. I'd still like to find a World War II Jeep to play with. Lots of vehicles for your kid's first car right here. Minivans, trucks, got it all. Golf carts, man. Some of that stuff is theirs that's in the sheds, so we'll avoid that, but all kinds of things. And if it's like last time, some of these things brought just a few dollars less than you could have bought the new exact same thing, you know, brand new. So you got to watch at an auction. There's not always, just because it's on an auction doesn't mean it's always a good deal. You go downtown and buy the same thing brand new. sometimes cheaper. People get caught up in the excitement of the auction. Pumps and things. I don't know, I don't see any really interesting old saws or anything. There's some steel saws. They'll bring a ridiculous price. They always do at an auction. There's some home lights. Not that we need any more, but Super XL. Old DeWalt tools. All kinds of mowers. A little 6x6. I had a friend growing up in elementary school that they had one of these, and we had a lot of fun in this. It actually would float if you had there's a plug in the floor I think you have to put in, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if I could even really fit in that now. I would like to find one of those Alice Chalmers Terra Tigers. It's made like that. They were always cool. The guy at the dealership told me that when he was a kid they got one in and the thing was super fast. Like a 110 John Deere. There's a mower just like my old one, which since I replaced it, this one's been working flawlessly. That's got a Briggs though, mine's got a Kohler. Okay. Commercial Cub Cadet. Just like what I bought, except this is liquid cooled. Mine's in a ton better shape though. Haven't mowed with it yet. Saving it, you know. Look at that creation. That's probably the best use for one of those. There's a woods mowing machine. That wouldn't be a bad one, I don't think either. But we got one now, so. Well, we will come back tomorrow and see if we can score any deals. You know, I guess we'll leave this part here. A John Deere tiller and a giant cock. So that's where we'll stop, and I'll bring you back tomorrow. Well, in typical Ross fashion, I'm running behind. It started about 10 minutes ago, and I'm probably about 15-20 minutes away. So we'll get there. Dad's there. He called, and he said they're not anywhere close to any of the stuff I was looking at, so we should be good. I could have probably waited an hour and went, and they still wouldn't be anywhere near anything I had to have. So at any rate, I'll bring you back when something interesting happens once we get there. Everlasting road construction seems to be the name of the game everywhere I travel. So I guess we'll just sit here and wait whether something comes or not, because it's one of those delayed deals where it's way far down there. So yeah, this will be a nothing we can do about it situation. I don't know, friend. We got here late, but this is the best parking spot I've ever had here. I'm not miles away. So, sure, I am wearing, I don't know. I thought maybe it was gonna rain. Maybe I'll keep the hoodie on. I don't know. I'm close enough now that I can make up my decision later if it's not what I want. Yeah, they're far away from anything that They even moved that planter over here, so. Dad said one's all the way on the far end and the other one's right here moving this way, so yeah. Well, friends, this is interesting because a bad thunderstorm is coming, and so they gave instructions about where to go if there was lightning, and I thought I'd just as soon die in my pickup, so that's where I'm at. Hopefully, I mean, I don't assume that they'll keep selling while this is going on, because the stuff won't bring anything, you know. They're kind of in an area where there wasn't anything I was interested in anyway, so I'm hoping this kind of blows over, and then, you know, we'll go about our happy lives. I don't know. I don't know where Dad is. I messaged him, told him I was in the pickup. He could have come sat in here, although he could go to his pickup too. I don't know. So I should probably, you know, keep the seat clean here for him, so in case he comes running over here in a second, it's livable. No matter how hard I try, I just cannot keep a pickup empty. There's just something all the time that I end up with in it. I'm trying to do too many things at once though. I was looking, yeah. So, well, come back, radar. There's our dot. It looks like the worst is past us, but that's not what life is telling us out here, so. It kind of looks like we're going to be in this for a long time. Like there's going to be a break about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock and then hit it again. This, I don't know, this is an odd situation with the way this is. I think Dad's leaving. I see his pickup going by. Yeah, he'll get stuck if he doesn't. Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm in my pickup, right? I see you going by.
Yeah, I have an umbrella you could use.
Oh, that's not you. That's another pickup like yours. I thought that was you leaving the auction, but it's not.
Oh, no. I'm over here in the lean-to.
Okay.
Where it's doing the auction.
Okay, well, I'm sitting in the pickup. I don't know if they're going to keep going outside or what they're doing.
He said as soon as the rain stopped, they'd start in again.
Okay, so. All right, well, I'm just going to sit here till it stops, so.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, so, okay, he's under the building. I guess they're still selling little stuff, which is good. They're keeping stuff going. However, it's not good for him because I guarantee you that his pickup will be stuck. 2-wheel drive diesel pickup. I mean, if a gray cloud comes over, it'll be stuck, so. And the bad thing is, because I didn't bring the trailer, I bet I don't have a chain on here. So, we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there. Maybe somebody will be able to help us. Maybe it won't rain enough to get it stuck, but I don't know. So, game called on account of rain. That's just the way it is. Those people over there are having a rough go with their umbrellas, folding inside out. But such is life. So I'm not going to show you the license plate number of that truck that's leaving right there. But right next to me, just now, I guess they decided to leave, and that lady totally slammed her door into the side of my pickup, but that's fine, you know. I guess I live in a time where when you do that, you tell the person sorry, especially when they're sitting in it, but I guess not, you know. I guess we just do whatever we want. I know stuff happens, and I don't think she caused any damage, but I would think that courtesy would, you know, be that you tell the person, no, sorry for putting a dent in the side of your pickup. or whatever, but that's okay. This ain't no peach, and I think that person was super old, so we'll just live with it. So the unfortunate thing here is that it's gonna kind of be doing this little drizzly thing all day, I think. But if we keep taking breaks to stop because of hard rain, we're gonna be here till 8 o'clock at night. I mean, yeah. But look at the testimonial the rain is giving, like to this feeder. That section from there to there is good. The rest of it, you don't have to worry about holding water. So yeah, it's gonna be a long time before they get to the stuff I want. And one guy I talked to already said he was here for the same thing I was, that WC. So I don't know how that'll play out, but we'll find out. Well, I get my first purchase of the day, if this is any clue. Figured I better put that in there so nobody takes it. Then we can't try to start it. But I bought that WC. A little more than I wanted to give for it, but last I checked, they ain't making no more. So if you want one, you gotta pay it. But I think it's a pretty solid rig that's got round spoke wheels on the back that look pretty good. I bid on this thing, and I had the high bid, but it didn't meet the reserve. They said it took $1,000, but it's got a bow in it. It probably doesn't show on camera, but after the back axle, it's got a pretty severe bow. So I said no, it didn't sell. And then I thought, well, maybe after the sale, they'd, you know, change their mind. Well, another guy come up to me and said, I got one that's not bowed, I'll sell you cheaper than that. So that may be a possibility. But they're getting ready to sell the rest of the tractors, and I'll see if we can watch some of that. Like I said, I'm not too much on filming right in people's face, so we may not get a lot of footage from that, but at any rate, I don't know what he's on now. But they said that the guy said he had this running a year ago, so it's possible we'll get it running now. But his abortion of electrical work here probably ain't gonna do nothing for us. This is a magneto, so we're gonna need to go through that. I think you can get a kit on the internet that has everything, coil and all that, and we can probably just do that right off the bat. But I think it has potential, you know? Look at the rims. That's pretty good as far as stuff from the 30s, you know? Doesn't look like it had fluid in it, and that's what saved it. But anyway, let's get down here to the tractors.
Big tractor on 117. Right there, Hammond and Unners here, and you tell me on the 460 utility. Right there you go, Hammond and Unners here, and you tell me 5,000. Able to be $5,000, able to be 5, I'll check with Terrence when we're done. Able to be 5, able to be 3,000. Able to be 3, I got 3,000, now 4. I got 3, now 4, able to be 4, and able to be 35. I got 3 and 35. Able to be 30, able to be 3, able to be 35, able to be 35. Able to be 3 and 35 on the 460. Able to be 32 and a half. I got 3, able to be 32 now, able to be 3, able to be 32.50. I got 3, able to be 32 now, able to be 3, able to be 32.50 on the 460. Able to be 32 now, able to be 3, able to be 3, able to be 32 and a half. 3,000, 32.50, 31. Able to be 31, 31, 32, 32. Able to be 33, able to be 33 and 10, able to be 34, 34, able to be 34, able to be 34, 35, able to be 35, able to be 5 and 36, able to be 3,600, in the 36, able to be 35 and 36, 37, able to be 37, able to be 7, able to be 37, 36, now 7, able to be 7, able to be 7, able to be 37, 36 and 7, able to be 7, able to be 7, able to be 37, able to be 37, 36, now 7, parent, are we good to sell it? 37, able to be 10, able to be 10, able to be 37. Sold them right there at 3,600, number 368. 368 the buyer. Terrence, what about this one on the Farmall 240?
It's absolutely perfect.
Absolutely perfect. It has been sitting out here for about 3 weeks now, 4 in all the rain. Fired up. He's had it running.
It's all new one end to the other.
All new, one end to the other.
All I've they've ever done is parades and tractor shows.
Parades and tractor shows, all it's done. It's ready to do a little work. We're right there on the 240. Right there you go. And able to be 4,000. Able to be 4,000. Not able to be 4, able to be 4 and 3. Able to be 3,000. Able to be 3. Able to be 3 and 2. $2,000. Able to be 2. Able to be 2. Able to be 2. Next, someone give me $1,000 to start it. I have 1,000. 12 and a half. 15. 1,500. 15 Kevin. Able to be 15. 17 Evan 2. 22 now. Able to be 2. Now able to be 2. Now able to be 25. Able to be 25. Able to be 25. 7 and a half. Able to be 27. 50. Now 3. Able to be 3. Able to be 3 and 32 and a half. Able to be 32 now. Able to be 35. Able to be 35. Able to be 5. Able to be 35. 32 now. Able to be 35. 5. Able to be 35. 32 now. Able to be 35. Able to be 32 now. And 34. 34 Kevin. Able to be 4. Able to be 34. 32 now. And 34. 32. 34. 35. 35. 34. 35. Able to be 35. Able to be 5. Able to be 35. 34 and 5. Able to be 35. 34 and 5. Able to be 5. Able to be 35. 34. 35. Able to be 34 and 5. Where'd Terrence go? 35. There he is. 34 and 5. Able to be 34 and 5. We're going to let her go. Able to be 35. 34 and 5. Able to be 5. Able to be 35. Sold him there at 3,400. Number 356. 356 the buyer. Thank you. Thanks to the buyers and thank you, Terrence. We're going to do the 135 Massey on 1, 2, 3. On 1, 2, 3 on the 135 Massey. They drove it right in. A little bit of a reserve on this one, folks. Oh, it's the next one. Gotcha. Selling this one the 65. The 65 has a little reserve. Anything you want to tell me about it? We got it running. Does it run forwards and back?
Several years.
Been sitting in the barn for years. Did you have it going forwards and backwards?
Yeah.
It's been going forwards and backwards, folks. Right there on the 135 Massey.
It's 9:38 on the hour.
Says 9:38 on the hours. It's probably set more than it was ever used. Right there you go. Hammond and others here. Able to be 2,000 on the 135 Massey. Able to be 2. 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 Someone give me $1,000. I have 1,000, 12 and a half. Able to be 1, able to be 1250. $1,000, able to be 12, able to be 1250. 1,100, $1,000, now 11, able to be 11, able to be 1100. 1,000, now 11 on the 130, 11, now 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, 13, 1,300, 12, able to be 13, able to be 13, able to be 13, 14, 1,400. I have 13, able to be 14, 14, 15, able to be 1,500. I have 14, able to be 15, 15, able to be 1,500. I have 14, 1,500. I have 14, able to be 15, 15, able to be 1,500. I have 14, 15, able to be 15, able to be 1,500. Able to be 14, able to be 15, 14, 15, able to be 1,500. Sold him there, $1,400. Our buyer number is 3. Is that a 55? 355, 355. The next up is the 65 Massey, same lot. We can pull up a little bit, guys. We're going to come forward with the truck. The Massey Ferguson 65. That'll be good, Danny. That'll get us to the rest of this, and then we can get up there to sell the mini excavator. Oops, you drove it off the trailer, right? Drove it off the trailer. It's been sitting here also for about 3 weeks in the rain. The points, anything, could have got water on it, could be a little damp. Guarantee it to run, right?
Yeah, it ran.
It runs. Right there, the Massey Ferguson 65. Right there you go, and I'm in another here on this one. Able to be 2,000. Able to be $2,000. Able to be 2. Able to be 2. Able to be 2. Able to be $1,000. $1,000 on this one, on the 65. $1,000. Able to be 10. Able to be 750. Able to be 750. 500. Able to be 5 on the 65. 500. Able to be 5. Able to be 5. Able to be 5. Able to be 5 on the 65. It's just a little wet, folks. Able to be 5, 2, now 3. I had 2, now 3. I'm able to be 3, able to be 3. Now 4. 4, able to be 4, able to be 4, able to be 4. I had 3, now 400. I had 3, able to be 4, able to be 4, able to be 4. Able to be 3, 4, now 5. Able to be 500. I have 4 and a 5, now 6, now 7. Able to be 7 and 800. 800, able to be 8, able to 7 and 800. Able to be 8, you're both out. 8, now 9. Able to be 900. Able to be 9, able to be 9, able to be 9, 8, 9. Now 1,000. Able to be $1,000. I had 9, able to be $1,000. Able to be 1, 11, 1,100. Now 11, down 11, able to be 11, able to be 1100. 1,000. Now 11, able to be 11, able to be 11, able to be 1100, 1,000, now 11, now 12, able to be 12, 11, now 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, 11, able to be 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, we're going to sell her when we're done, 1,200, 11, now 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, able to be 12, 11, now 12, Now 13, 13, 12, what about 13, man, what about 13, man, what about 13, man, what about 1300? I had 12, 13, 12, what about 13, man, what about 1300? Sold them there, 1200, number 160. 1200, number 160. Next up is the Foton. Does that run?
We had it running, but battery.
How long, when did you have it running? You had it running when you brought it here, okay?
But it would not start when we took it off the trailer.
Would not start when they took it off the trailer. They loaded it at home running, but it would not start when we got it here and we pushed it back right there on 1, 2, 3. You're going to buy the Foton. You're going to buy the Foton tractor. It's a 250. Right there you go. How many dollars here? Give it $1,000. Give it $1,000 on the Foton. 500. Little project. I have 2, now 3, now 4. Give it a bit 4, now 5, now 6. 600, now 7. Give it a bit 7, give it a bit 7, give it a bit 7, 8. 800. And 7 and 800. Give it a bit 7.5. Give it a bit 800. 800 and a half. Give it a bit 50. 800. Give it a bit 50. Give it a bit 50. Give it a bit 50. 800, not 50. 800. Give it a bit 50. Give it a bit 50. Give it a bit 8 and a quarter. 800, not 25. 800. Give it a bit 25. What about 25? 800. Give it a bit 25. What about 25? 50. 850. 850. Don't quit. 850. 825. 850. 825. What about 50? Give it a bit 50. Give it a bit 50. 825 and 850. Now 75. 875, and now 9, 900, now 9, yes, 900, 9 and a quarter, give it a bit 925, give it a bit 9, give it a bit 25, give it a bit 9, give it a bit 25, give it a bit 9, give it a bit 925, sold them right there at $900, number 432, 432, next up.
All right, friends, well, I bought this planter too. Not really sure what I gave for it. 4.5 or maybe 5.5, I don't know. I was thinking parts, you know. The soybean planter is 5,100 units, which is what this is. But then I'm thinking, you know, maybe I want to see if I can make it plant, because it is actually on 38-inch rows, it appears to be. And it appears to be no-till, you know. And that's the kind of thing I've been looking for, you know. It'd be kind of handy to plant some wide row corn. Easy. I like my old plate planters, but they are just not as accurate. You waste a lot of seed compared to one of these error meters, and a 6000 series planter would have been better for corn than this, but you know, it is what it is. It's pretty rough. Obviously you can see that nature has overtaken it. I kind of think I might know where this came from, but I'm not sure. At any rate, the worst part about it is it's missing the marker on one side. So that would be something that I'd have to possibly acquire or just plant without markers, you know. But I don't think it's going to be a this year's project. But you never know. We'll just see how much free time we get, right? We have lots of free time. If nothing else, we've got lots of parts potentially, you know. All this kind of stuff here, motor, blower stuff, the cooler, filter housing. This is not good. That would have to be replaced. Somebody already tried to get some extra life out of that, and that's toast. But it casts a shadow, therefore it can be restored. I just think it'd be handy to have a 4-row air planter, and then I got that 6-row. Eventually we'll get that going, you know. More choices is what I'm after. Looks like maybe they didn't even clean it out and there's some free seed in there. That's probably really good. But like I said, I don't think I gave too much for it. We got some steel and some parts, if nothing else. And in here is a monitor, I believe. So I'm gonna do the right thing and probably pull this home. Since I didn't bring a trailer with me, I need to take something home on this trip. And this is probably going to be it. It's going to be totally miserable because lots of traffic, you know. Another highway's closed, so all the traffic is diverting by here, which is awesome, excellent for this type of setup. But this isn't as wide as some of the stuff I've hauled home, so, you know, it's probably about 12 foot wide or so, 13, I don't know. We'll make it. We'll go slow. The tires appear to be like this would be possible, you know. We might learn quickly that's wrong, but we'll just see what happens. So I'm gonna call that the end of this video here. We got stuff to move home, and we should probably get started. I'll probably make that its own video, and that way we can see the terrible adventures that befall me on the trip back. But as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.